Hello, everybody. Welcome here inside the Den Fox 5 studios. Mike Davis for a brand new edition of Dry Heat. It's so hot in here because I got such a great guest. I'm even sweating a little bit on my forehead, but I'm always sweating. You guys already know that about me. This guy right now, let me just tell you, a lot of times when you're an expert at something, you're a master at something, it's hard to be humble. This guy is one of the most humble, kind, sweet, gentle guys you're ever going to meet, and he's one of the best chefs in Las Vegas. Echo and Rig. You already know it. It's a staple here in the community. Green Valley, Summerlin, Tivoli Village. This guy, when I went to this first time at Echo and Rig, is one of the best dining experiences of my life. And now I'm so happy to have Chef Sam Marvin in the den with me for Dry Heat. Chef, it's great to see you out of the kitchen.
Out of the kitchen, I agree, Mike. I've unfortunately been spending a little bit too much time out of the kitchen lately. But yeah, it's great to see you as well. It's been a while.
It's really good to have you here. We first did something a long time ago during Thanksgiving. You got the great butcher shop there. I mean, listen, when you go to a steakhouse and you see some of these cuts of meats and how delicious, and what is it about the cuts that you have? Because there is something different about the Echo and Rig experience than a traditional steakhouse. There's something. Feed us.
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
So first of all, by having a butcher,
Yes.
we can really cut all our own meats, right? We can't bring enough whole animals in to suffice our needs, but we're cutting a lot, right? A lot of whole products, a lot of trims of pieces of meat. So we're creating, bringing a lot of fun pieces. So like we just brought a zabuton to the table about 6 months ago, which no one in Vegas was doing a zabuton.
And
right?
I'm just nodding like I know what a zabuton is, but what is a zabuton? Tell me.
So yeah, it's a great cut, right? It's super tender. There's not a lot of them. It comes from under the cage. It's most of it goes to Asia, right? It's zabuton actually means fluffy pillow.
Wow.
So it's like this. It plumps up a little bit as you're cooking it. Really tasty piece of meat. Also one of those. It's not a ribeye. It's not a ribeye cap. It's not a tomahawk. So you're getting good value on these cuts, right?
Wow.
So we do a ribeye cap. We do the center cut of a ribeye.
What about the ballpark cut? The which one? The baseball cut? What is that?
So that's a culotte.
The
right?
culotte, yeah.
A great cut as well.
What do you call that on the menu? What is it?
That's our. It's a baseball cut. Yeah, because it's round like this and it looks.
That's
like a baseball.
delicious too.
And it's a great cut for someone who's like a lot of fat, right?
Right.
So if you're a filet eater, man, a culotte's great.
Right. Yeah, I love that. That's what I usually
chew.
go with. And now the thing is, listen, when you go to these steakhouses and stuff, it's the sides are a big deal too. I remember what is it? Is the zucchini chips are huge there, right?
The zucchini, the portobello fries are really big for us, right? We do a lot of things that, that's where the chef part comes out of it, right? Because a steak is a steak, right? But all of our side plates, like, we're doing pig heads terrines. We're doing bone marrow carne asada.
Yeah.
We're doing octopus with gigante beans. So that's where all the chef love comes in everything except the steaks.
Okay, well,
right?
We're going to do a lot in this conversation today because we got to go back to the beginning. I want to learn about packing your bag at 18, 19 to go to France and learn everything and cut your teeth and learn actually the mastery behind cooking and all that stuff, and plus some exciting stuff you have on the horizon. But let me just ask you this first, because I'm always intrigued by chefs. I'm always interviewing musicians, athletes, chefs. I took to you very quickly because not even knowing your background or heritage or any of these things, but I just feel like you're one of these masters who's a really sweet and nice kind of guy. There's a lot of chefs in this space. It's almost like they walk around town like they're David Lee Roth, and this is the 80s. It's not like David Lee Roth. They walk around like, they really, their S doesn't stink.
I agree.
What
I see it.
What is that thing, and how were you able to be, so proficient and so, get to such a level in your field, but back away from that kind of vibe?
Sure. It goes back to the old days. My dad used to say the smartest guy in the room is the guy who's not really saying anything, right?
Right.
So using that philosophy, I was lucky. I learned from the best chefs in the world. Not just saying the best chefs in the world, actually the best chefs in the world, right? So I packed my bags. I went to Europe, young age of 18, and I learned from guys like, Pierre Gagnère and Marc Minot and Georges Blanc and Roger Verger. I mean, those four that I mentioned would undoubtedly be in the top 500 chefs in the world of all times, right? So I was lucky enough to understand those skill sets and how to do things correctly. And So, you get to that point where I humbly have a lot of confidence. Like, I'll tell you right now, there's not a person who could cook a scallop better than I could cook a scallop, right?
Really?
That's the confidence I have because I understand everything, learning from those guys.
What's the key to cooking a scallop?
Well, it's understanding how hot the pan is, what the temperature of the pan is, how big the scallop is, when you should turn it, when you shouldn't turn it, how much fat or no fat you should add to it. Like, there's so much that goes into cooking a scallop.
Wow.
It's not just taking a scallop and putting it in a pan, right? So understanding that skill level gives somebody a lot of that humble confidence where I'm a quiet guy, right? Except in the kitchen.
So you grow up in the valley.
Yeah.
You end up, deciding you want to be a chef. You want to cut your teeth and really learn how to become maximize your potential, right?
Yeah.
So you end up traveling at 18 or 19, you said.
18, yeah.
18 years old. You pack a bag. Your parents are on board, and you're flying to France to start training at Le Cordon Bleu. That's the
exact story, Mike. Exactly. And when I went there, 19 kids in my class, no English, all taught in French. I was lucky. I learned a lot of French as a kid. My mother's from Casablanca, so I got that French as a language that was always in the background. So it was very easy for me to, jump on board.
So nothing in these classes was English. Everything was French, right?
Correct.
So you had to pick it up immediately, and if you don't know what's going on, you're
Yes, but think about it this way: if you pick up a green bean and you say petit pois and you're putting it here, after the guy does it 4 or 5 times, you realize that a petit pois is a green pea, right? So
okay, so you start doing that,
and I watch a lot of cartoons,
Pepe Le Pew and all that stuff. So you're there. There's 19 people in your class. Is it one of those things? All the kids in that class now have gone on to do incredible kinds of things, or most of them?
Yeah, I think so. I would hope so. In different areas. I'll tell you one thing. So out of our class, there were only 2 Americans, and it was me and a guy from New York, and his name was Bruce Bromberg.
Okay.
And we met there. We became roommates. We love it. Talk about Bruce Bromberg. He owns 25 Blue Ribbons here in town as well, right?
Wow,
in Vegas.
That's so funny.
He's him and his brother, the Bromberg
So
brothers.
did you have to get how did you get in to be one of the 19? Did you have to fill out an application, prove your, hey, here's a video, because today it would be you go on Zoom and let me show you guys how I cook a scallop, and
right.
But how did you get in to be one of those lucky 19?
Great question, right? So I knew I wanted to be a chef. I was working in restaurants even earlier, right? 14, 15, 16. And when I finished high school, there was a famous chef in LA, and I think he was at Ma Maison at the time.
Yeah.
And his name was Wolfgang Puck, right? And he was getting a lot of heat in LA. A lot of heat. Big shot, new blood, hottest thing in the market. And I set an appointment with him. He was just opening Spago, and he didn't know who I was, but I had another friend, Joachim Splichal, who was a chef who knew him. And I asked his advice, and he pretty much said, if you want to learn to cook, you have to go to France, right? And I applied. I had a letter of recommendation coming from a couple other people. It was like a 3-year waiting list.
Did he give you a recommendation, Wolfgang?
He did. I didn't need it,
right?
Right? But he gave me a path to follow, right? Because I was already cooking and in restaurants, and so
at 14 and 16,
I was like 18 now, 17 and a half now when I went to see him. And I said, great, I'm going to France. And I applied, and 3-year waiting list. And they called me 3 weeks later and say, we have a cancellation in 10 days. Would you like to take it? And I took it.
Dude, you know what's so crazy? 2 things. One, first of all, I've interviewed Wolfgang Puck. He's actually one of the most gracious, nicest guys on earth. He's you could tell there's a special quality about him. Also, for funny, I've probably told this story here on Dry Heat. Other viewers, listeners might know about it. Same thing happened with me with Howard Stern. I had applied all the time when I was in college to try to get in the door to work for Howard Stern. At the last second, somebody dropped out. And there was a cancellation, basically, and they called me and said, and then boom, I took the opportunity.
It was right there on the phone. You had to make the decision.
It's exactly 100%. I moved from Miami to New York as a whole thing. But so you're getting the mystique of the kitchen. It's important because you were in that kitchen. A lot of people would go to Le Cordon Bleu and do that stuff without ever having the experience in the kitchen.
Most of them do.
Which is not a good thing, I don't think, right?
Well, I had an upper leg, right? Some of them come in that have worked in restaurants, but at an early age, I knew, so I've already been working in the industry. summers, part-time.
But you were doing like busing, where you would do everything.
I was a lot of prep work, right? Dishwashing, peeling potatoes. Like when I worked at some of the best, literally the best restaurant in the world, I mean, I was a prep guy. I was peeling potatoes.
Which restaurant is that?
There were a couple of them. Yeah. That was called Le Mer Blanc in Vonus, France, with a chef named Georges Blanc.
Yeah, I've heard of him.
Amazing, right?
But so you're saying the technique to just peel those potatoes, it's
different than the way
it's like surgical. It's like surgical, right?
It is.
If you do it the wrong way, would George Blanc just scream at you?
Well, it wouldn't be acceptable, right? So it's not that he'd scream about you, but if you turned a potato and it had 5 sides instead of 7 sides, or 9 sides instead of 8 sides, whatever we were trying to achieve, or it wasn't a perfect triangle, or the dimensions, there's traditional cuts in France, right? So knife cuts. So you've heard of julienne, but there's batons, and there's 8, 7, 8, there's mirepoix, brunoise, right? All different sizes, large dice, small dice. So if you did miss the perfect cut, it's just unacceptable. You'd have to do it again. So
do you think, did you always naturally love these things? Take to the geek out on the scientific and the mathematical components to cooking? Or do you think, is that a prerequisite for success? Or could you be somebody who just says, you know what, I want to become the best chef I can be. I really don't care about all the different kinds of cuts. I've always wanted to open up a burger truck, but I want to get the pedigree of Le Cordon Bleu, but I don't care about
technical skill sets.
Do you need to fall in love with that? It's kind of like music. I'm always curious, do you need to fall in love with the process of making music to become a Paul McCartney, or can you just fake, some people can fake it. I don't know.
I don't think you need to fall in love with the process.
Yeah.
I think that, the most important thing to being really a great cook is passion, right? Loving it, understanding it, feeling it. You can't teach that, right? The skill set now just gives you more tools. So, you look at a black belt in karate. I mean, he's got all the tools to kick anyone's ass, right?
Right.
He probably never got in a fight his whole life.
Right.
Right? So that's what those tools give you to be able to do really whatever you'd like to do in that industry.
Gotcha.
But if you don't have that passion first, you could have all the tools and you're going to suck.
Okay, so let's go back to the beginning. So you pack your bags, you've had some experience, you got, the last minute cancellation, you had a little bit recommendations from big time people. So you get that spot there and that opportunity. Your parents were they in the culinary space? I mean, and the funny thing is you're growing up basically kind of kosher because you were kosher in the house.
Kosher in the house,
and meanwhile, you're the best on the face of earth. You're the best scallop cook there is out there. And you grew up, so tell me just the background with your parents and all that kind of stuff and how you took to, why cooking?
It was my grandma that with the cooking. So I was 5, 6 years old. My grandma speaks no English, also from Casablanca, Morocco. Living in Hollywood, I'm 5, not even going to school yet. Parents go to work. Every single morning, I would walk with my grandma from our house on Romaine Street in Hollywood to the Hollywood Farmers Market every day. We would, with her basket, we'd pick up produce and food. We'd come home. She'd cook all day. The parents would come home from work. We'd eat dinner. Groundhog Day every day. We'd do the same thing, different food. I loved it. And I think that's where I saw the passion of a good piece of garlic versus a average piece of garlic, right? It was her who instilled that. And, I didn't want this skill set. I mean, I wanted the skill set, but that wasn't what drove me. All that mechanical, I was talking about, it was the passion that drove me. And then was lucky enough to be able to surround it.
So you're in
even more than lucky
in terms of, in the Jewish diaspora and all this stuff. So your mother's side of the family from Morocco, Sephardic,
yes.
Moroccan Jewish family, and then your father, you said, was Ashkenazi.
Yeah, from New York.
From New York. Yeah. So which, the spice, everything's a lot different. So, I mean, even down to Pesach, Passover, the holiday, Sephardic Jewish people can have rice. Ashkenazi Jewish people can't. So growing up in that culture, today we see a lot more Sephardic, Ashkenazi marriages and things like that. But back then, you being 61 right now, your parents, it was different for two different, Judaism spectrums to collide like that.
Yeah, I think my mom's side dominated the household.
How did they meet?
My mom was a secretary at one point, and somebody fixed her up with my dad. They both worked for the government at the time.
Yeah.
And one thing led to another, and they started dating, but then that was it.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
So, okay, so you learn this passion for cooking and all this stuff. You end up in Paris, and now you got a little bit of the French speaking. You're a little better at picking it up. You start getting fluent with it. And then once you graduate from there, what's your next move?
So I was really lucky. So I finished very high in that class, right?
What is finishing high in cooking school? Because I understand if you're in law school,
yeah,
you do the best on your board. You have the best grades. What does that mean in a culinary
So situation? It means for the whole 2.5 year, 3 year process of the school, you finish in the top 3 in everything. Your tests, your exams, your finals, you're one of the top 3 students in the class. They don't announce number 1, number 2, number 3. But you're the meilleurs ouvriers de the Cordon Bleu for that year.
Wow.
And it's just a lot of luck, right? In life. Luck mixed with hard work and passion. So I started working in, like little butcher shops before school started. I started working in little, poissonniers, fish markets before school in the mornings. So I was able to learn a lot of stuff that you wouldn't, more and above what you'd even learn in the school. So when it came time to like final exams and things like that, I was able to perform things at my final exam that other kids were not capable of doing. So you did
extracurricular training basically that kind of pushed you. Where I'm sure, were you, did you feel that appeal to kind of like, oh, I'm 18, I'm 19, I'm in a different country, I can go hit on, French women at a,
That's how I learned how to speak French.
Did you have a lot of that, or were you so hyper focused and just like, I'm here to become the best chef I can be, and your drive was that strong? Like, how would you depict it?
Yeah, that's great. So I don't know if I'd had the drive to be the best chef I could, of all times. That's what I wanted, but the fun parts, the girls and the singing and the fun part of all that is my fun part. Like when I'm not working, I'm cooking, I'm going out to eat, I'm talking food, I'm at markets, I'm visiting ranches.
So you enjoyed life. It wasn't like one of these things
Correct.
That was like military service.
It was very passionate for me.
See, you're better than me. For me, a lot of my fun with stuff, it was like I couldn't have fun. I was like very, serious, too serious at times with things. But okay, so then really when you first make your big mark where, it's your opportunity, where it's, Chef Sam Marvin, your name is on the plate. Like, take us through the timeline of when that officially became, okay, my name's on the line now. When did that happen?
That was an amazing experience, right? So I got back from France, 8-9 years back and forth, all that. I come to LA, and I'll never forget one of the French chefs that was a mentor to me, Jean-Francois. He told me, if you don't open your own restaurant, your own business by the time you're 29 years old, it gets very difficult after that. So that stood out for me always. So I was 29 years old, back in LA now, and I said I'm going to open my own restaurant before I turn 30. So I actually saw on the TV that one of the Wayans brothers just did a film that won every award at Sundance, and he used credit cards to finance the film. So I went out and I got about 13, 14 credit cards at the young age with no credit, and I took money on all of them, and I opened my own restaurant. And it was 50 seats on Melrose, and it was called Mo Dada. And Mo Dada is like Mon Dada, right? And Dadaism was a time in art right past the Impressionists, where it was like F you to the Impressionists. Picasso, Dali, Man Ray, crazy stuff, not beautiful artwork, right? So that's what my first restaurant was, Mo Dada. Yeah, and it was really going against the norms of everything.
This is so interesting. So you come back and you're working at Flaming Colossus and Patina. So you're already doing some things in LA.
I was at Patina, which was amazing for me. Amazing.
So you're there, you're doing these things, and it's funny because that's literally that Sundance, that film festival independent scene where a lot of these filmmakers became big time from that. That's what they did. They would just take out credit cards and shoot films. And we saw that with a lot of these indie filmmakers. That's Robert Rodriguez was one like that. A lot of filmmakers.
Even Spike Lee might have been like that.
So really it was like, that's where the artistry really comes in, because that's putting, a lot on the line. How do you, I mean, to take that risk? Because if
Yeah.
you failed,
Yeah.
you know, it would have been pretty bad, right? I mean, so how do you can't teach, it doesn't matter. Did you need the years at Le Cordon Bleu to actually have the confidence in yourself to do something that crazy, or is that just innately who you are?
No, I think it's innately a little bit who I am, because I also packed my bag and left for France, right? So, but I will tell you that I needed the Cordon Bleu and the education and the interns and the stages I did to be successful.
Gotcha.
Right. So I didn't need them. I could have failed by myself.
So you take out, I mean, how much money is this probably?
At that time, it was like $135,000.
So that's how much you need it. What year is this?
1992.
Okay, so I was born
1993.
I was born in 92.
Somewhere around there.
So I'm either 1 year old or I'm in my mother's womb, and you got this going on, and it's like, I mean, for a restaurant to succeed, it's not so easy. So you think the reason why you succeeded was probably a combination of reasons. And how long did you have that restaurant? And tell me a little bit just about, did you just it became boom?
It did. There were only 55 seats, and we were doing food that no one else was doing. So even Spago, Patina, all these great restaurants around the whole city, right? Like you'd find salmon on every menu, right? I do salmon now, so it's not about the salmon. I was a young rebel at the time, right?
Yeah.
So I wouldn't serve salmon on my menu. There's 335 other species of edible fish in the ocean, but everybody was serving the same thing. So I really took a crazy view upon everything. Like I would serve things on, hot rocks. I would come out in the middle of the dining room with whole chickens. Actually, not chickens, ducks, whole ducks, right? Hey, we're going to do this, this, and this. Let's start the bidding at $35, right? And whatever I wanted to do.
So it was really
I did a Mexican New Year's Eve. It was so much fun, right? Valentine's Day, I had smoke on the floor. You look like you're walking on a cloud.
So it was an experience. It was
just whatever I wanted to do as a young 29-year-old guy who was crazy and against the norms.
So when you're at Le Cordon Bleu, you're doing your training, you're peeling potatoes and you're making sure it's, 7 sides instead of 5 or whatever it is. Is this one of those things where you would daydream during the day and you think, if I ever get my opportunity to have my first restaurant, this is the tone it's going to be, this is the style, if I ever get that chance, this is what I'm going to do? Or was it just balls to the wall?
Oh no, it's that for sure, right?
You were dreaming of it.
But it's not just dreaming of that. I'm dreaming of my restaurant if I get the chance, exactly what I'm going to do next and what effect it's going to have.
But do you think it takes being a 29-year-old? It's kind of like, why does Billy Joel not do anything anymore, right? It's like because he has a window of opportunity you can't replicate that feeling of, striving for success and taking chances and having it all on the line. So do you think you need there's a window of opportunity when you're that young to be that bold and brazen and just kind of, because that sounds like rock and roll.
Yeah, I would say yes and no. I think you have more of it at that point.
Yeah.
But fortunately or unfortunately, it hasn't really changed for me, right? We're growing, I'm expanding. When people are closing, I can't wait to open. I see a lot of opportunity all the time. And like I just said, my next project, I'm already dreaming of it. What if I get that opportunity? What I could do, how I could do, where it's gonna go. It changes.
Was it hard for you? It's because I love jazz, right? John Coltrane, who's one of my favorite saxophonists, he had to be second fiddle, or not fiddle, but second fiddle to Miles Davis for years. They'd go around Europe and play, and Miles Davis was the guy who's number one on the, poster, but Coltrane is sitting behind the scenes, just doing his thing, playing a part of Miles's music. Meanwhile, Coltrane might be better than Miles.
And we're talking about him now. Right?
And all that stuff. So, same thing. Louis Armstrong had something with a guy named Sidney Bechet. Yeah, I'm a big Louis Armstrong guy. So he had all these years in King Oliver and all this stuff. So these guys have so much potential, so much talent. Even Luther Vandross was a backup singer for David Bowie. So all these people, they're waiting for that opportunity, but they just need that chance. So was it hard for you after Le Cordon Bleu, where you have all this expertise? You probably come back to LA, your hood, and it's like the guy who's maybe your boss didn't go to Le Cordon Bleu, and it's like, I'm kind of John Coltrane over here. And, you worked at, Roy Rogers 2 weeks ago, so is it one of those things where you had to, you seem like the type of guy where it would be easy for you to not get in your head about that because you're just such a kind soul guy. But did you ever have those feelings before you got your chance?
Not when I came back immediately, because when I went to work, I worked at Patina, and it was the best restaurant in the United States of America.
Who's restaurant?
Joachim Splichal.
Okay, you mentioned him earlier.
Yeah, so he's chef owner. We were Zagat, all the guides, top. So came right into that environment, so it was very easy. So I'm still learning, right? That's what was interesting about it. But I've been in that other situation a couple of times before where, you are the Coltrane sitting behind Miles Davis. But, I'll tell you something. You talked about a window of opportunity, Mike, and man, you're right. Like sports.
Yeah.
Window of opportunity, right? So many things have windows of opportunity.
Right.
Being a chef is the exact opposite, because the older you get and the longer you practice, the better you get, right? So you're a wide receiver, at the age of 40, you're not running as fast, right? Man, after 20 years cooking, you're better than you were 20 years ago, right?
Really? So you're your best right now.
And I'll be even better tomorrow. Like, that's how the attitude is, and that's how I feel. I learn something every day, whether it's a new mole sauce from an El Salvadorian lady where they put plantains in it, which I've never seen. As long as you're open for things like that, right? Like, I know that I'm continuing to get better and better and better, because it's just experience. If you do something thousands and thousands and thousands of times, you're going to get better at it.
It's crazy. So you do Bodega Louie 2009. That was another big milestone, right?
That was a success beyond all expectation. When you create a movie or you write a song and it becomes a #1 seller and you never thought that. That's Bodega Louie.
What?
Right?
Tell me about that restaurant.
Yeah. So 2007, 2008, 2009.
Which is financial I mean, this is a tough
crisis.
Time to start a business.
Crazy.
Bad time to start a restaurant.
I'm convincing these money guys that we should put $5 million at that time into a restaurant in downtown LA that has heroin addicts and drug addicts and homeless everywhere. And I'm telling them this is the place to go. And we started to do our R&D, right? And the R&D told us it was the place to go. Every factual piece of information substantiated exactly what I was saying. It had the #1 Ralph's in the whole chain. It had the #1, Roy's in the whole chain. All these things were going on.
You're doing this research, or who's compiling this?
I am.
See, this was so interesting because
with help.
But it's kind of like being, it's kind of, this is what's so fascinating with sports. It's kind of like that crossover in analytics we're seeing and how that's 100%. Impacting sports, right? You have these coaches who played football. They were in a kitchen. They know the on the field stuff, but now they're sinking in a lot of this analytical approach to things to kind of help the success, not only in scouting, kind of like what you're talking here. It's like for draft picks to make the right pick,
right?
But it's also like, knowing, okay, if it's 4th and 2 or less, that's analytically in this situation, we should go for it. So
I agree.
That's what you're doing really with that.
Because those numbers don't lie.
This.
We did. I go into a Starbucks. There were 2 Starbucks, caddy corner, and a coffee bean 2 doors down with a clicker. How many people are here when I get here?
You would do that yourself?
Yeah, 5 a.m. when they open. How many people walk in? How many people are here?
See, that's half. See, to me, it's like I would never think that the guy who trained at Le Cordon Bleu also has the patience and the interest to think that's worth your time. And that's why you would be successful without that. But having that collided with your expertise and your mastery, putting that together, it's like the perfect person.
It's a philosophy, right? It used to be back in the day, build it and they will come.
Right.
So my philosophy from a young age is find out what they need and then build it for them. Right.
Wow.
So that's the different philosophy. So when you see 3,000 people every 2 hours or every 8 hours are going to a Starbucks, maybe we should sell coffee. Right?
So you decide and figure out, because of all this time and this research, or sitting at a coffee bean, people think, is this guy going to order a coffee, or is he just going to keep clicking this thing here? And then you decide this is the spot. And then how do you decide the concept with the food?
So the concept was really great, right? We wanted to create something archival that's going to be there forever. And now it's already 20 plus years, right? Italian happens to be the #1 genre of food, especially at the time, right? Look at them all. Ethiopian's probably 13th, right? So Italian's #1.
Yeah.
And I took all my experiences. So I used to go to a lot of places. I used to live down the street from La Durée on the Champs-Élysées in Paris, and you'd see a line out the door for French macarons. When I came to LA, no one even knew what a French macaron was. Our first Valentine's Day, we sold, almost 80,000 macarons, right? Crazy numbers. And a macaron, boom started in the LA area. I visited places like, Dina DeLuca at the time. We built a little market in our spot. I was at Fauchon, another Paris location.
Yeah.
I'd go in London to, the food hall, the great Harrods, right? And you see what they did at Harrods. And I just took all these pieces and I put them together in a new in a format, and we opened Bottega Louis.
And it's still there to this day.
It is,
and you're involved.
So not really so much anymore, right? Like my concept, my idea, I had a percentage of future growth of it, but the partnership ended. I was vested already, so I had nowhere to go, and it wasn't moving fast enough for me. So I decided to move on and open my own restaurant company. Yeah. And start with my Echo and Rigs. So that's how I started Echo and Rigs.
So then Echo and Rig, and then for here in this community, 2013, you opened in Tivoli Village.
Yeah.
And I mean, what a tremendous, that's one of the best spaces I've ever seen for a restaurant. It's just gorgeous.
Great location.
The views, the balcony, the space itself. It's so spacious. You almost feel like, but it's also intimate. It's such a rare space, even beyond the food. How special is just that location?
The locations are really special because of the community, right? I think that when we started there, it was an underserved community. Everybody was the strip. And, 13 years ago, there were a lot of communities. Summerlin was just starting to get, growth, and Henderson was not even in the eyes yet. So I think that by attaching ourselves to the community, the community made the space special.
But like you still did the same thing just for Bottega Louis, where downtown LA, you're doing your research, you're doing your analytics. You did that, I guess, for Summerlin and Echo and Rig
100%.
In 2013. Because listen, now in 2025, there's all these high level food and experiences that feel like a strip experience now in our backyard. That's the norm. Everybody's got that now. But you were kind of first and cutting edge when it comes to like actually bringing this to a community. So that was a big risk, right?
Oh, it was a risk, right? For sure, risk. But like you just talked about all that factual stuff I did. So I was seeing that all of the people that run the strip, pit bosses and vice presidents and directors, they all live in the suburbs.
Right.
So yes, it was a risk, but it was a calculated risk, right? Like, so we took it, and we were correct, right? We knew that they were underserved, that they deserved the same quality that people are getting on the strip. They deserved it out over in the suburbs as well. And it was exciting to be one of the newer, people.
It's such a tremendous experience there. Now we got another one in Green Valley in the district, of course, as well as Sacramento. So that keeps expanding. And now, so tell us, you're at your best you've ever been, you're saying right now, in terms of your skill set and your ability to cook. What does the future look like? Because there's a lot of exciting things on the horizon with you. I know there's this Mar group.
Yes.
I want to know about this because I thought, okay, Chef Sam Marvin, Mar group.
Right.
That's what it is. But there's another Mar involved in the Mar group.
There is, and his name is George Mar Cantonis.
Okay. He doesn't sound so far. He sounds Greek though.
He is Greek.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
amazing Greek man. Great, amazing family. And he's been a silent partner of mine in the Sacramento location for the past 8.5 years.
Okay.
He used to visit Tivoli all the time. He asked me if I ever wanted to open another one. One thing led to another. I had an opportunity in Sacramento with the Sacramento Kings, and he joined me on that project. We went, looked at it, and he said, I'm your partner. So he's been a partner of mine for like 8.5, 9 years, silent, everything, great man. So prior to this, he was the president and the COO of the Venetian Palazzo.
Okay.
Right. Before that, he ran the Atlantis Group. Before that, he was the president of Caesar's Palace. So
this guy knows business.
Yeah, especially hospitality, right? Venetian's the largest hotel in the world, right? So I approached him. He left the Venetian after Mr. Adelson passed, and they sold the Venetian to Blackstone. So he decided to leave there. And when he left there, I approached him with an idea, right? I had to follow second seat because the day he left there, governor called him and asked him to be on the gaming board as a commissioner on the gaming board. So now George is one of the 5 commissioners on the gaming board. But I approached him with the idea of a new hospitality company, the Mar Group, and let's grow. There's a lot of opportunities here in Vegas for sure, which I love. But there's opportunities other places too, right? Whether it's, Chicago or Utah or Arizona. Tremendous amount that I figured if we could put a real A team together and create a hospitality company, we could take advantage of a lot of these opportunities.
Wow. And this is really, this really sparks because of he's a regular, basically, kind of thing, right?
That's how it all started.
That's so funny. So he was a regular at Echo and Rig a lot. You see him a lot. You become friendly.
I didn't even know who he was at the time, right? Until he approached me and said, I'm here for like the 10th time with my family, and I come here all the time for different occasions, and I feel like I'm the only person in the place, and you're packed. How do you do it?
Wow.
And he goes, do you ever gonna open another one of these somewhere? And that's when we started our conversation.
So I'm always so curious, as we're wrapping this up a little bit, I just have a few questions because, I think it's one thing to be able to keep the feeling and the vibe of a restaurant when you're there all the time and there's one location. But then once you start to expand, I'm always intrigued about quality control and how you can, there's only one chef, Sam Marvin. We can't duplicate you, you know? So it's like, how are you able, once you start from, Tivoli, and then you go to, Sacramento, then you go to Greenville, how are you able, from a leadership standpoint, because that's not just about being the best scallop cook in the world. That's about being a leader.
Yeah.
How are you able to keep and that's applicable to many different industries and fields. What's the key? If somebody was going to pay you for like a coaching session, chef, how do I have a business? I own a med spa and I have one great med spa, but I want to expand because we're growing at such a high rate. But how do I keep the special quality of the one here on Main Street and bring it to Main Street in Utah? How do you do that?
So, culture, first of all, the culture is imperative. Growth, seeing people that have potential and growing their potential. So just to give you an idea, like our corporate general manager for all 3 restaurants right now, she started out as a runner, right? Our executive chef, corporate executive chef, and our executive chef in Tivoli, he started as a dishwasher 9 years ago.
Wow.
Right? So if you can recognize the good qualities of the human resource, that's the toughest resource is human resource, right? So if you can recognize the quality of your human resource and grow that, you already have it in front of you, but people are always looking for somebody better than a dishwasher to be the chef, right? They're looking for a chef. But if I got a dishwasher that I know is going to be the greatest chef ever here in 3 years, and I'm willing to put in that effort, man, it pays off for sure. Without a doubt. Well, and then the last thing, like my dad used to tell me, is that Johnny Carson was the funniest guy on TV because he had the best writers. Right?
Wow.
So surround myself with the people that are better than me, and I know that I can be successful.
See, it's a good lesson. And so now as we're, culminating everything with this interview, so Mar Group, so now there's something very exciting on the horizon.
Yeah.
Now we're branching off not just with the Echo and Rigs, but now we got a whole culinary group, a whole concept.
Correct.
Where there's going to be multiple concepts coming at a fast pace to a lot of people. And we want as much Chef Sam Marvin as we can get. So you got to start feeding us all these different ideas. But tell us the first one that we're going to be hit with and when it's happening.
Great. So perfect day today, too, because today is National Cheeseburger Day.
Oh.
So we formed a nice partnership with Area 15. And with Universal Horror Unleashed in their new district area of Area 15, and we're introducing a burger concept, right? Really amazing, high quality, simplistic, off the charts new burger concept. It's called Good Company Burgers.
Yeah.
And we're in construction right now. We're going to open right after the first of the year down at Area 15, right next to Universal Horror.
Wow. And now when people say, listen, you have this Mar Group, you have, your Greek partner, you have all these things going on. Everybody, burgers have been done before. So then when you're thinking, okay, but I went to Le Cordon Bleu, I have all this experience. I've had so many different, periods in my life where I've learned things. When you're thinking, okay, how are we going to make this burger better than the rest? What are we going to do different to make this experience special? Can you give us a hint of what that, angle is?
Absolutely. Okay. So it's a chef again driving it, right?
Right.
So it's really a chef angle. So there's a lot of great burgers. Like I'll tell you right now, my favorite burger in town is Fuku Burger, right?
Really?
Amazing. I love those burgers. Juicy, amazing, awesome. So it got kimchi. It has Asian flair. You got burgers with, caramelized onions and blue cheese. Like you can do them any way. So we really went back to the basics of an Americana style burger, right? I live in the LA area a lot. I'm there, and smash burgers. Every block is a smash burger, right? Smash burgers okay. I think I like them, but it's not my ultimate burger.
Yeah.
So is ours a little semi-smash? We're not getting the crispiness on the edges and stuff, but it's a great patty. What makes us different is everything we're doing. So Wagyu patty, right?
Okay.
But not just a Wagyu patty. People talk about a Wagyu patty. It's like a hot dog sometimes, right? Like it's coming from 10,000 different places.
Right.
Scraps of Wagyu.
Yeah.
You don't know what's going into it. They do.
People throw around that word Wagyu like it's immersive.
It's
BS. How everything's immersive now?
Yeah.
Like my chiropractor's immersive. Everything's an immersive experience, but everything is now Wagyu.
It is.
Where it could be like
even Jack in the Box.
Right.
Right. They got a Wagyu burger, but they're taking it again. It comes from 100 different ranches.
Yeah.
Scraps and pieces. It goes into a 10,000-pound container. And they grind it. You have no idea what cow it came from, what piece of the animal. Just like a hot dog, right? We're doing a Wagyu burger. It's a full muscle burger. We're taking a whole chuck. Wow. We're grinding it. We understand what cattle it comes from, how the animal's treated, what it's fed, how it's talked to. So that's why we're a good company burger. Our cheese, it's called New American Cheese, 5 ingredients, right? It's probably the best American cheese. It's a chef in LA, Eric Greenspan, right?
I've heard about this.
So our bun is a potato brioche that's made for us, customized, right? Our pickles are made in-house. Everything we're doing is at a super good quality, good company. All of our packaging is, is good for the environment. So a lot of things are going to differentiate us.
Yeah.
But then it's going to really be our logos, our brand, our collaborations, we're sort of like a media company, believe it or not. Like we're treating it a little bit as a media company, but our product, our burgers, shakes, beer, our fries, all hand-cut Kennebec potatoes. We blanch them twice. We finish them cooking them in tallow, right? Beef tallow.
Wow.
So we're taking that McDonald's style burger and fries and a shake to a really highly integrity of the products, of the level, of everything about it.
Wow, I love that.
And we're going to have an audience. There's like 3.5 million people coming to Universal every year, right? That's what they're saying, just Universal.
Hey, people love Universal. Okay, a few last things before we wrap up that I just want to make sure I ask you before you leave. Okay, one, what's your take on In-N-Out as an LA guy, and now you got the burger thing?
Sure. So what's my take? Good bread, good condiments. The taste of it is great. But it's a patty of beef that's 1 ounce and 3/4.
Okay.
Right?
So what do you get when you go there?
I get a 3x3 plain.
Okay. Okay. So it's not overwhelming. You're not in love with it overwhelming.
No, but I grew up on it, right?
Gotcha.
I'm gonna tell you one last thing. You're gonna go crazy. My very first job ever was an In-N-Out burger in North Hollywood.
What? Is this breaking news? Have we ever done it?
And you can eat for free. That was a benefit of working there.
How old were you?
I was 16.
Wow.
Yeah. And it was the third In-N-Out burger of all of them. Like they're still there. It's still there.
Interesting culture and all that kind of stuff. Like, so fascinating
How
stuff.
funny.
All right. So that was your first. Okay. What about this? Are you able to shut off like the Le Cordon Bleu, like master level chef thing? Like, are you ever just like, I want to watch, the Sacramento Kings and I'm going to DoorDash something to my house? Do you do that, or can you not get over because it's not going to be hot? It's like, so are you able to shut that off? It's kind of like how does Larry David, is he able to just go out and about town without thinking of a joke or observing, or how does that work for you?
Probably not, right? I don't think I shut it off, but I'm not judgmental. Like I can enjoy a bad spaghetti and meatballs.
Yeah.
And it's not going to affect me. Like I'm not going to be judging it or criticizing or this or it's too cold or too hot or the noodles suck or
so it's just,
but
it registers.
It does. That's exactly what
so it registers, but you don't get critical.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Last question. Your parents, because I love this love story between them. Sephardic, Ashkenazi. I'm in a relationship now as an Ashkenazi Jewish guy with a Sephardic girl, and so all this stuff. I'd be lucky if one day my kids could be like you. That you're a perfect blend of a human with all that stuff. But
that's too kind.
Did your parents ever get to dine at like their son's restaurant? And I would love to know the story of that first time that happened.
That's great. I'm getting goosebumps right here, as you can see, right? So they did, right? For sure, they both did. And it was crazy because I don't want to say I was like the black sheep, but, my dad worked for the government for so many years. Yeah. My brother went to very educated. Then he went to medical school and became a physician.
Yeah.
So my whole life was about that education, lawyers, doctors, everything. So when I didn't want to do any of that, I didn't want to go to college.
Yeah.
I wanted to cook. Like I was definitely felt a little like the black sheep, but they supported me.
They didn't make me feel hard. Like that. My brother is a plastic surgeon. So I feel, I'm the black sheep too, but I'm not as successful as you.
So funny. So I felt that. They didn't make me feel that way, but that's how I sort of felt.
Yeah.
I always screwed up and whatever those things were, right? But then they were they were so proud of me, even more than my brother, the doctor. Like they had a different pride when they came to the restaurant the very first time. Like
which restaurant?
It was called Modana. That was my very first restaurant I ever opened.
So they went and like. Yeah. When they would see their son bring out a chicken and, or the stuff on the...
They were so proud. It was unbelievable.
It must have felt so great.
Yeah, it was great for sure.
And did they get to see Bodega Louie as well?
So my mom did and my dad did not.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, my mom ate there a few times for sure.
So what a special...
And Echo and Rig, my mom's been to Echo and Rig many times. She's passed now, but she ate at Echo probably 20 times at least. Yeah.
Well, what a beautiful thing. I know they must be so proud of you, staring down on you, all the great stuff you're doing. Chef, any last words? So we know we got to keep an eye out, of course, for Good Company Burger, right?
Perfect.
Good Company Burger. It's going to be happening just at the beginning of the new year, Area 15, Universal Studios. It's a big, good space. Listen, before I start anything, when I buy a house, I'm going to have you come over with the clicker and figure it so I can make sure my value and my investment 100%. Works out in the end. So listen, Good Company Burger. Going to want to make sure you check that out. I like the American cheese angle that you're doing with that as well. And of course, Echo and Rig, 3 locations. One of the best places to go. Zucchini chips, baseball cut. That's my order, Chef. Any last words?
Mike, I just want to say thank you. My last words. I really appreciate you having me here on your show. And like you said, we met, 8, 9, 10 years ago doing Thanksgiving. Yeah. We're still doing Thanksgiving, by the way.
Okay, good.
Yeah, we got 350 turkeys I ordered about 3 days ago.
Wow.
And, we'll sell out of those fast, but it's like our 14th year doing our Thanksgiving feast, and it's sort of like one of our signatures.
I love it. Yeah. Listen, you can't write it any better. The kid who grew up kosher is the best when it comes to scallops. I got to try your scallops one day. I want to come over and try those scallops. Guys, thanks so much, Chef. Thanks for joining us, guys. Thanks so much for joining us here in the Den for Dry Heat. To listen to conversations like this, make sure you go to our YouTube page, Silver State Sports, and check us out on Fox 5 Las Vegas for great, in-depth conversations with remarkable people just like Chef Sam Marvin. Thanks so much. I'm Mike Davis. We'll see you next time.